I'm Microsoft teaming with Microsoft Teams. I'm learning and dreaming with Microsoft Teams. The hub and the teamwork of Microsoft 365 in these quarantine times. I'm Microsoft teaming with Microsoft Teams. Yeah, with Microsoft Teams.
I am so excited about my guest today. Today we're meeting with Lego Systems. Now, some cool facts about Lego you may not know. Did you know there's over 400 billion bricks right now on the planet? That we spend 5 billion hours every single year playing with Lego and putting those sets together. 7 sets are sold every single second. That's 318 million sets every single year. In 2000, Lego was named Toy of the Century, and Lego is the world's most reputable company because when you think about Lego, you think about collaboration and playing together. I was so fortunate that 5 years ago, I had a chance to go out to Billund, Denmark and meet our guests. I got to go to the Lego headquarters, which is like going to the Willy Wonka factory for me. And I learned so much about the product. I got to see the founder's original desk and learned about the wooden toys, the wooden ducks that they used to make long before they got into making those plastic bricks. I got to see the bricks with the original bottoms where there wasn't those little click pieces there. And I brought a flat Stanley, a project my daughter was doing as we took a tour. So there's a picture of myself and our guest today. So I am very excited to have some friends of mine today on the show from Lego, who I got a chance to meet 5 years ago already. It has really gone by. So Michael, Ulrich, welcome. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Michael, let's have you introduce yourself. We'll have you start. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the role that you play at Lego.
Sure, Sim. Michael Peterson. I'm a senior application engineer in our end-use computing team. I'm the tech lead on Office 365. I've been at Lego for 5 years. My role is primarily working with governance, compliance, etc. for the entire suite in the Office 365 platform. Not the client stuff so much, but everything Office 365.
Yeah, my name is Ulrik Skadhaug Jensen. I've been at Lego for 10 years, so more or less, almost 10 years. So more or less the doubled as Michael. But I work as a product owner for Lego. That means I take care of the Microsoft 365 platform. So the priorities around that, the license part, which is a big thing sometimes, but also the products, how we implement them together with Michael on the Office 365, but also client side and identities I'm responsible for.
Awesome. One of the things that I love about your company and you guys and the way that you look at IT was when I came out, you told me something that has stuck with me since then, which is you embrace technology and collaboration, that it's in your DNA, that embracing technology, embracing collaboration, that it's absolutely at the core of everything that you do. And it is, as you look at your toys, that's the way that people play with the Lego sets and, you know, the Connect systems and the robotic systems and everything else, and the way that you work. And I was so blown away by how quickly you adopted so many of the technologies. And we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, I'm going to turn it over to producer Meg. Meg, go ahead, take it from here.
Okay, first question. What was the first job you ever wanted as a little kid?
Michael, I'll let you go first again.
It's going to sound cheesy, but it was actually as a Lego designer. That's not exactly what I ended up to, but at least at the right company, right? So Lego designer, and I'm not even kidding.
That's awesome. I love that. All right.
Actually, when I was a kid, I was on holiday at my grandparents' place, which was on a small farm here in Denmark, and my summer vacation was there. So actually being a farmer, I thought that was going to be my way of life, the way I wanted to do my life. But
wow, that's very different. All right, question number 2.
What is your favorite Lego set? Or do you have Legos around you that you could show us?
I have been. Behind me, I have the roller coaster, and that's one of them. Mostly due to
that is awesome.
Mostly due to it was built with my daughter when she was 10, and now my son is 3. He loves to play with it. I had actually a boost engine on it, but we had to take that off. He just liked to use the little crank. But my own one is get fitted. This big yellow crane.
Wow.
And this because it was actually the first one I built when I started Lego 5 years ago. So that is staying here in the office.
That's pretty cool. Or
Yes, I'll just go behind. I prepared a little thing, but that's our Ford Mustang model.
Very
Which
nice.
is really nice car thing. Up on the shelf, I have the Fiat and Volks, or the Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all. So it's cars that I built in my spare time.
Do you have a new one you're getting ready to start? Actually, here I'll show mine, the one that I'm getting ready to start, and then I know you have one too. I got this as a holiday gift. I still have not built it, but I will be soon. But I'm very, very excited to be doing this one. So I have that, and I know you just got a new one, Ulrich. What are you going to be working on next?
I think this is the latest Ferrari. Going to build that one.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And next week is a winter season here in Denmark, so I think I'll have the week off, and I have time to do that.
That's awesome. Absolutely.
And that will be my next one, also in winter vacation. There's a lot of glare here. Sorry.
Cool. Well, let's talk about Teams. So when I came out, Teams had not even really started yet. You guys were really deep into SharePoint and OneDrive and leveraging a lot of stuff. But how has Teams changed the way you work? Because you were one of our first adopters of the Teams platform. So either one of you, how has it really changed the way that you kind of move through your day and that the people that you manage, how they leverage it?
Well, like other companies, we basically started with the chat functions in Teams. We have this culture of now we are on the road of a cloud software as a solution platform like Office 365. We also enable it for our users. So for Teams, we basically enable it. It was announced through YouTube actually from you, and we had users immediately the next morning. Oh, when can we get this? Okay, then we just enable it, and now we can use it. At that point in time, that meant enable it for everybody. And then suddenly we got a call from Microsoft Denmark that the Teams team from Redmond would like to speak with us because we had a very high adoption very fast. But in the beginning, it was chat mostly.
Yeah. And that's what we hear from a lot of companies, that if you put it out and don't really train people on it, not make them aware that it's coming, they'll use it as a chat tool. So how did you get folks to stop using it, not just for chat, but to actually start to use it for collaboration, to start to replace some of the other collaboration tools that you've used?
I think we saw a need for collaboration tools that were kind of governed and controlled by Lego IT and not some wild competitions you have out there where we're not in control of the data. Because we haven't decided to be that. And so it was a dialogue with business. Okay, we work in teams or in a product team, and we are developing these products. How can we come together come together one place, even though we are scattered around the world, to work together on building these models, and then go forward with that. So it's more, how can we collaborate on a single topic in single place, I think, in one common place. I think that was what we were aiming for. And then just the easiness of it, everything was stored in SharePoint. The chat was consistent. It was asynchronous, and you didn't have to respond immediately. It was not like our Skype for Business, where when the chat was gone, then when it was gone, then you had to look in your Outlook for response, etc. So I think it was the compellingness around, okay, how do we actually interact with each other? How can we share files with each other to begin with? And then they found out there was some video recording in it as well, even though it was first timers at that time. It was really not that great, but it was okay, and they started using that.
Was there a fear that they would use non-approved tools if you didn't say, look, all right, yes, we'll leverage Teams and we'll bring this together? Because if you don't give people a tool to do whatever it is they want to do, they'll go out and they'll go find their own and start to bring it in. So was that a key piece? Because I know that compliance and confidentiality are incredibly important to your business.
Yes, we have approved tools. We have IP partners. We work with Disney, we work with Marvel. And for instance, if we leak something from the next coming Star Wars, then that would not be great. So we need to keep our data secure, the pictures, the models, etc. So that they have to store this in a safe location where we know we are in control. So, but these are these designers, they're creative people, so they will always figure a way out. So if we didn't have any tools that we could actually give them, they'll just find another way. But that also meant that that we could now give them a tool where they could be safe, we were in control, so they could use that. I think that's the good thing to say about this.
Yeah, no, a managed environment. Now, Michael, a big part of Lego is you have this incredibly diverse workforce because you've got, designers and engineers. You have first line workers that are working in the factory piece of it. So how did that affect the choice to move to teams and managing all these different types of users?
Yeah, like most companies, we have blue collar workers. They have one specific need. We have the normal office workers, the white collars. But then we have these creative people you talked about, and they are very self-adopting. And it is them that drives a lot of these things by themselves. And if we have the right tool they can use, they would like to do that, but else they will find a solution. So we have the standard adoption issues a lot of other companies have with our standard office workers and blue collars. They don't necessarily see a change as a positive thing. Right. But then we have these subset of users that really do, that drive by new stuff. And they are normally, every time you announce new technologies through YouTube or whatever, we get contacted. Oh, when can we get this? When can we get this? When can we get this? So they are very awesome. self-driven. The rest is normal adoption, like all other companies. But we have this subset that really drive themselves.
Awesome. And then by bringing them on board and training them, they become the experts for everybody else and start to drive that internally. When people say, hey, that doesn't work for me. Yeah, it does. I've been doing it this way for months, and here's why it's better, which we've always seen that having champions and first adopters internally really, really helps. Rather than saying, this is what we're going to use, it's other people saying, why aren't you using this? We are, and here's what we're doing with it. So it definitely changes things. And you guys are very lucky to have so many people who want to get involved in that. We'll get back to our interview with Lego in just a moment, but I got a chance to sit down this week to chat with Chris McNulty about a brand new product announcement, Microsoft Viva. Let's take a look at that.
I'm here with Chris McNulty. Why? Well, because Chris is a great guy, and I've known him for a long time. But also, Chris is at the center of the launch of one of our newest initiatives, Viva. So, Chris, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Oh, it's really great to be here. As we say in the sports world, long time, first time. So yes. Great to be here on Inside Microsoft Teams. How's you been?
I appreciate that.
How are you? How have you been?
I'm doing good, but I'm sad that I cannot put large pyramids of Diet Cokes in your office after hours anymore because we're not physically together. So it makes me sad. But let's talk Microsoft Viva. What is Viva? What is this?
It's a great question. So at the top level, Viva is our new employee experience platform. And it's a set of branded apps or modules that you can add to Microsoft Teams. No matter what stats you look at, from a business perspective, people know that looking at employee well-being is sort of the key to how do I make all of this sustainable.
Right.
So these are the 4 modules of Microsoft Viva. You'll see they're all being delivered through Microsoft Teams. So Connections creates a company branded application experience. It draws on tools like SharePoint and Yammer. It has some new capabilities to let you integrate actions for things like expense management or health checks or all of the things that people need to do. The way that we forge that culture with targeted communication and personalized information, that's all being delivered through the Connections app in Microsoft Teams.
And that's something similar to like intranet, where people are going to intranets and different apps within the intranet to do this. They're now able to do it right from Teams without having to jump between an expense app and all the rest.
Exactly. So Insights is built on the platform you have with tools like Workplace Analytics, My Analytics, Glint, and so forth. Mm-hmm. Being able to provide privacy protected personal nudges, again, delivered through Teams. And when we say delivered through Teams, that extends all the way on to frontline as well as traditional desk or browser usage. So helping people protect their personal time, protect their focus time, being able to look not just at the consumption that we have from inside services like Teams, but also let you bring data in from places like Zoom and Slack so organizations can have a holistic view of how people are working with each other. So Topics is using AI to organize information that you have into topics. We bring them together in topic pages. You can think of these pages as being essentially AI writing the first draft of your organizational Wikipedia. They're not based on outside data, but the content that you have and the signals that we get from the ground. Once that's out there, your experts can go in and review, approve, and curate information, and then those topics get delivered through the apps people are using every day. When you see a highlight in Teams, you can hover over it and get a topic card, which is a capsule summary of everything that we know about that subject. And that's also being extended into places like SharePoint, Microsoft Search, Outlook, the Office apps, and more.
And that's where it's starting to do things like, hey, this email seems to pertain to this meeting, or here's a document that's going to be important for this. So as you take a look at meetings, you start to see things now show up, and that's also part of that, correct?
Right. The last major part of Viva is Viva Learning. So Viva Learning, again, is looking at the scope of content that people want to pay attention to. So the Learning app lets IT, working with the business, construct an environment to be able to bring courseware, whether it's coming from a place like Coursera, Pluralsight, edX, learning management systems like SAP SuccessFactors, Microsoft's own solutions like LinkedIn Learning, MS Learn, being able to track, target, recommend, and also have courses get suggested to you through the flow of your work. Collectively, that's Microsoft Viva.
Awesome. So what's somebody's next step to go, why is this important to me as an IT pro, and how is this going to affect me because management's going to want to implement this, and how do I learn more about this and how to get prepared?
If you go to Microsoft.com/Viva, you can find information on each of the modules. You can find information on the business value. We have resource centers where you can experience demos and videos and the research that we're using to help justify the ROI around this. And there'll be more to come in the next few months.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you
Look
taking time out.
Thanks a lot, Stephen.
This week on Tech Workbench, the folks at Logitech sent me their meetup system, and I had a great time putting it together and setting up my own in-room conference system. Let's take a look at that. Not everybody has thousands of dollars to go buy really cool, expensive meeting room systems. So I've built one on the cheap. It is the camera that you see there, and the remote. That's also an iPhone remote, which you can use as a soft remote, and there are optional additional speakers, and we'll talk about that. A TV I picked up for about $250, and leveraging an old laptop, I was able to put together a really great meeting room system. So let's take a deeper look. This is my setup with a 50-inch TV with the Logitech Meetup sitting on top. Coming out of the box, they give you a wide variety of plug choices. So if you're overseas using different plug types, it comes with it ready to go. But setup is maybe 5-6 minutes. This is what it looks like on top of my TV. And I have purchased a stand from Amazon, which I'm using along with a little pad that does not come with it. There are mounting options that you can put it on a wall or things like that. But I chose to make it a little bit more portable. And that worked out really well for me. In the back, 2 cables. I needed a USB-C and power, and that was it. That additional port that you see there is if you want to add that additional microphone, and there's also a lock port, as you can see as well, and I do need to dust back there. I did go out and get a Microsoft wireless keyboard with built-in mouse so that I could do everything from my desk chair, and there is the Logitech Meetup remote. That comes with a mute, hang up and call if you're using it as a full soft phone service, Bluetooth if you want to add additional devices or headphones, volume, zoom, camera movement, and then you can set 2 camera presets, and you'll see what that looks like in a little bit. I attached this to an older Surface Pro device. I added the USB-C hub and HDMI adapter, and then a Ethernet port. One of the things that the Logitech Meetup allows me to do is not have to just sit at my computer when I'm having a meeting like this. I like to walk and talk, so I can go to my number 2 preset, stand up, and be able to really kind of feel like myself and move around my office a little bit as I'm chatting, which is great. And really take advantage of the space as I do this. The audio video is going to sound just as good and just as clear. And if I sit back down, it's going to remember where I was at and automatically pick me back up here. So the Logitech Meetup comes with a 4K Ultra HD camera with 5x zoom. There is a full duplex microphone array built into the camera housing, That's good for up to about 13 feet. Beyond that, you will want to look at picking up one of the optional expansion mics, but for most small touchdown rooms or offices, it's going to be perfect. There was RightSense, which is auto-leveling for voices, which I found worked really good when I was presenting. When I would get a little louder, it would kind of balance things out nicely. There is a pan and tilt lens with RightSense, so it will automatically frame, but if you want to kind of have presets for Zoom, again, you can use one of those two preset buttons. It does support Bluetooth speakerphone capabilities, so you can connect this directly, whether you're doing that through your mobile or through another device. Really easy to set up, as you saw, different mounting options. And then they also have software called Logitech Sync that is available for room management if you're managing multiple rooms in these devices. That allows you to do everything from update to choose different settings for it. The cost for the meetup is under $900. Total setup for me was around $1,300. I did happen to have that Surface device, but you could use a wide variety of Windows devices. So that is the Logitech Meetup, a small conference room or huddle room device, or if you're looking for something a little bit better for home, I would tell you to take a look at the Logitech Meetup. Now with the pandemic, we've heard from so many folks, they did in weeks what they had planned to do over months, that by, people went home in March, and by June 1st, they had done work that they had figured would take them the full year, if not longer. I know you guys were Skype on-prem, and that changed very, very quickly, Ulrich, on your approach to that and how you were going to move from that. So walk us through that process of, pandemic has hit, people are now working from home, what that kind of process was.
I think we were lucky in somehow, because almost everybody at Lego, if you have a computer, have a laptop. So it was quite easy just to carry your laptop with your home and work from there. So that was kind of and it is. We saw that occasionally that people were working from home, but not in the sense that we see today. So that was the first thing, and so that meant we could just send them home. Then another thing came. Okay, we need VPN for everybody because we have in-source systems where we actually on-prem. You need VPN. What we do with that? We just triple our bandwidth on that and purchase a lot of new licenses, and we have a direct VPN tunnel. So that was the second thing we did. And then the third thing was that, why do we have Skype for Business on-prem that is integrating with our video conference platform? That was kind of going in there. We couldn't switch to Teams because that wasn't supported at that time. So we're actually waiting for Teams and our video conference system to work together.
Right.
But as no one was in the meeting rooms, why shouldn't we just change the way we look at Teams? So we just made a huge decision 2 weeks before Denmark closed down, switched to Teams, use that platform that we know you could scale it up, and you proved you did that. And we knew we couldn't scale our Skype for Business on-prem up because that was just exhausted anyway, just with the few online meetings we had already. So that was the going into just before the pandemic. That was the advice for the end users, how to work from home, how to use VPN, and then Teams. And I would say that we have planned last year to look at closing down Skype for Business. We are closing down Skype for Business this week instead. So we are actually 1 or 2 years ahead of our plans in decommissioning on-premise system here. Wow. So just so that's really, really awesome. And the team had done a tremendous job. And that is from. We have some offices open, so that is video conference interoperability, and it's also our PBX phone system inside Teams, our switchboards, etc. in 1 year. We have never imagined we will get to that stage, but we did it. So wow. That's really good.
So, Michael, how do you ensure that that there's a quality experience for every end user? Because now you have folks working from home that were in the office where you can control those environments. Did you look at things like split tunneling, or what did you do to do that, or enable people, if they had good tips and tricks, to be able to share that information?
Yeah, when we were a bit proactive on this, so we anticipated that this will happen in Denmark before it actually did in March. So our team prepared around what can we do about our communication platforms. and decided that there was a challenge here to as Ulrik said, to utilize what we had today. So we started announcing. We had a very active Yammer community, and people are very self-driven in there. So we use those environments to inform them, and then we have the official channels through our intranet. And our other colleagues around that runs the VPN clients, they also start to prepare also these 3 weeks before. But of course, it takes longer time to upscale a physical installation like VPN with the bandwidth and concentrators. So when it hit, and now we're going home, we had Ulrik recommended that this use Team, and that came actually very natural because the Skype performance Skype had to go through our VPN setup. That was still very challenged, even though the work has started. So the performance for Teams was simply so much better. So we were helped a lot here that the users simply preferred Teams, even though it's a new system for them, etc. It was just working, and our Skype meetings really had a challenge. Then, in the meantime, our colleagues running our VPN setup had then migrated to a whole new system with split VPN tunnel. So we now send all the work-related traffic through the tunnel, and we exclude stuff like Teams, etc. That actually goes directly out on our clients today. But we were helped by the pandemic in the user adoption here, because it simply gave them a bit of experience just to switch to Teams and go out directly on the internet locally at that point in time, and not through the VPN tunnel. That was a big challenge.
Wow. And you had said that you would people are having so many great ideas and tips and tricks that you set up a Yammer board.
Yeah, we have these Yammer communities that are already there. So the first few days, I actually spent a lot of time making small Teams hints. Oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Until people we saw a lot of questions. So we tried to make some short stories on, oh, you can do that in that way. So we helped them a bit with ideas to get started.
So what are you looking at now? What excites you in the new stuff that we've announced and things that are going to be coming? What do you feel is the next thing that is going to change how productivity happens at Lego?
From HR, internal our organization is people development and organization, P&D, and that is they are looking into the well-being of the employees, diversity, inclusion, and so of course we're looking at the Viva products inside Microsoft Teams and how can we actually help end users or our colleagues to make the right decision, when to relax, when to work. Yeah, a good person, right? So that's something we need to look into, or we are looking into already.
Well, employee wellness has always been a big thing in, especially in your part of the world, in Denmark, in Norway, in the Netherlands, etc. They're very, very aware of that and how the seasons affect people in that. So how do both of you from IT look at employee wellness at Lego and the importance of it?
Our primary task is to support our HR, and we have a whole department looking into the wellness situation, and we have had that for quite a while. So when you announced, like last week, you announced the Viva product, we knew about the product. We are very active in the programs Microsoft had with customers developing stuff. We didn't know the names of it, but we knew the building bricks in that Viva product. So we have been discussing that with the different departments for quite a while. So when you announce information like that, part of my job is also to make sure that the right stakeholders knows this. So I start communicating that, finding the right small YouTube videos you announce and sharing that information, then having the discussion with them. And then Ulrik steps normally in to do the more strategic part of it and discuss now when we're doing what. But for us, for my part, it's more to be the supporting and make sure people know, because I spent a lot of my job to keep a tab on what is actually happening, both short-term and long-term.
On that note, gentlemen, I want to thank you for your support of being first adopters and being first through the grinder on some of the stuff and having to put up with things that didn't quite work the way that you want it to. But in doing that, you have really created an amazing model that so many of our customers now look at. And you are the world's most collaborative company on multiple levels, from the way that you do business to the way that people play with Lego. So it's absolutely tremendous. So thank you for joining me today. I know it's late there, so I'm going to let you get back to your evenings and let you spend some time with your families. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
What a great show. I want to thank Ulrig and Michael once again from LEGO Systems for joining me and talking about their experiences in working with all of our different products and services and what they're excited about. It was a great show. Chris McNulty for coming in and chatting about Viva and the new stuff that's coming there, and our friends at Logitech for sharing the Meetup system with us. We have a very exciting next show. We'll be doing an Ignite wrap-up covering all the great announcements from Ignite, and we have Paul Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley, and Brad Sams joining me. So it's going to be a great conversation. We're super excited. Make sure you don't miss it. As always, catch me on Twitter if you have any questions, suggestions for the show. We look forward to hearing from you and seeing you on our next episode.